The first week of practice is over for the BYU football team. We're here at Lavelle Edwards Stadium for the first scrimmage, which took place Saturday morning. I'm Jared Lloyd, BYU football beat writer. I'm here with Jason Franchuk, BYU football columnist, both for the Daily Herald. Exciting day to be here, Jason. What did you notice from the scrimmage today?
You know, I think everybody's watching the offense, aren't they, Jared? I mean, they want to see how. Sorry, I got sunscreen in my eye. I mean, that's my injury for today. Everybody wanted to see how Brandon Doman was going to run this offense and see how the tight ends would come along, and he's going to mix it up. I talked to Jake Heaps the other day, and he talked about the aggravation meter. They want to raise that on opponents. They want to make it so they're less predictable, so to speak, and they looked like it today. You saw the very first play, they throw deep, and they're going for 50 yards on any play, and Brandon Doman told me after the scrimmage, he said, hey, if fans want to interpret it that way, then we're going to be aggressive. They're right. So that's what he wants to do.
You did mention injury. The sad news was the very first play of kickoff. Iona Pritchard, running back, broke his leg is what it sounds like. Tough blow for the Cougars. Oh yeah, dislocated ankle, fractured fibula, and he's going to require surgery, likely out for the season. That's about a 3-month deal. The athletic trainer Kevin Morris told us, and Brandon Doman was just really heartbroken about that. I mean, that's a kid who switched over from defense and really was going to make an impact, they felt like, on this team, and you could feel it. There were about 7,000 or 8,000 people here, and you could feel the atmosphere suck in for a little while. I mean, people just disappointed that happens to a kid, especially that serious of an injury on the first play. It had been a camp that had been very injury-free, aside from some strains and pulls and some precautions. So to lose a guy like that's tough, but they come back, and that was already planned, I should say, with Doman to throw that deep ball, but he said he would have switched it had it not been his initial first play call, because he wanted to get the atmosphere back, get the kids' heads back in it. But to only lose one kid so far is still awfully good when you consider some of the past camps here.
Iona's role was continuing to expand, and we really believed he was the next version of kind of Manasseh, and so through camp his role kept expanding, and so there'll have to be some adjustment now. Fortunately, we're deep at running back. We have a full back. Mike Elisa is a nice kind of cross-trained type of player, so it's the worst part of coaching.
You mentioned the people, 78,000 people. A lot of people you can see behind me here that there's still a line for Jake Heaps trying to get photos and autographs. Were you surprised at the number of people that showed up today?
Man, get him a water and a bubble cast for that wrist. He's going to be tired after signing. I told Jared he's running on the TD party. He's the mayor, right? So that's my bad joke for today. But I think people are really excited. I think the independents, you know, we're hearing all this speculation again about what league is BYU going to be in. We're hearing about Texas A&M and Florida State and all this stuff with the Big 12.
We're very happy with the West Coast Conference and the timing and how it panned out last year and going forward. And so that's the most important thing, is that we have our partners and relationships that we move forward in a strong manner. But certainly regarding football and what we would do, I'm not going to get into anything because there's nothing that's even been said.
I think people are really, really excited about this, and I think the interesting thing is, okay, let's say they look at a conference, then you're looking at having a set schedule of opponents. I think people like going around, and I think people like that there's only 2 teams, basically 2-3 teams in the country that can pull this off. And I think BYU's got a team they can really grow into right now. I mean, they're going into a very unique, sometimes scary phase, but with this offense, with Jake Heaps, who's only a sophomore, a bunch of guys around him, defense is growing up, they've got the nucleus to build for the next 2 or 3 years, no matter what happens with college football, no matter what they feel is right for the program.
A lot of sophomores stepped up, performed today. Big play probably of the game was the 15-yard touchdown from Jake Heaps to McKay Jacobson. That was on the first drive. Heaps went 5 for 5 on that drive, 50 yards, I believe, and ended up with that touchdown. That was probably the best offensive performance. The defense made some nice plays. Carter Meese got an interception off a tipped ball. Overall, kind of what you'd expect for the first scrimmage, I would suspect. Yeah, to highlight your play, I mean, the McKay Jacobson play was one where it showed 2 things. One, McKay's got to do a better job of getting himself aligned with this offense this year than he did a year ago, and I think he did that. Brandon Doman said it's up to him. He's got to make plays in practice, make plays in scrimmage, and it'll lead to making plays in games, which seems obvious, but didn't happen for a guy at his skill level last year. Other thing is, Jake missed 1 touchdown pass in the scrimmage, and Brandon pointed out that he threw a fastball when he should have thrown a curve, and that pass to McKay in the end zone, he threw it at the right pace, the right angle, and as Jake and that offense get better and better at making the right mental plays, he made the right read obviously, but continue to make the right mental play, the right idea on the throw, they're going to be tougher and tougher to stop, and that was a good sign for the
ending the first full week of camp.
There's a huge difference from making a mistake and man, wondering what's going on versus, you know, dissecting the play after and going, yeah, we know exactly what's going on, and we're not going to let that happen the next series or the next play. And you know, that's a sign of a great football team, and that's a sign that, you know, we got a good group, and that we're going to get those mistakes corrected, and we'll be well polished coming into the season.
There's still a lot of work to do at BYU camp. The BYU football team was quick to point out that they're not done. They've got a lot of work to do before they get ready for to play at Ole Miss on September 3rd. But it's been fun to watch the first week, and we'll keep an eye on them as they finish out fall camp.